Hello children, this is chapter 5 of grade 9, the fundamental unit of life. In this chapter, we will learn about the discovery of the cell, the various structures of the cell, the main components and organelles of the cell. So, first let us know about the discovery of the cell. The cell was discovered by Robert Hooke in the year 1665. He was examining a thin slice of cork which resembled like the honeycomb consisting of many compartments. He named these compartments as cell. Basically, the cells he observed were dead cells and they were empty cells. So, let us learn what are cells. Cells are the basic structural and functional unit of life, meaning a cell is capable of carrying out all the life functions and also living organisms are made up of cells. Basing upon whether an organism is made up of only one cell or a number of cells, they are grouped as unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms respectively. Depending upon the function they perform, cells are of various shapes and sizes. Like, as you can see, cells of smooth muscle, blood cell, bone cell, nerve cell, ovum, sperm and fat cell. Now, let us learn about the components of the cell. When we observe a cell under a microscope, the three main components we come across are the plasma membrane, also known as the cell membrane, nucleus and the cytoplasm. Plasma membrane is the outermost layer of the cell that separates the interior of the cell from the outside environment or the neighboring cell. It acts as a barrier keeping the contents of the cell in and unwanted substances out. That is, they are selectively permeable in nature, regulating the movement of substances in and out of the cell. Cell membrane or plasma membrane is present both in plant cell and animal cell. Movement of carbon dioxide and water and oxygen takes place through the plasma membrane through a process known as diffusion. Diffusion is a process of movement of molecules from a high concentrated area to a low concentrated area, whereas the movement of water molecules takes place through a process of osmosis, where the movement of water molecules is from high water concentration to low water concentration through a selectively permeable membrane. So, let us see what happens when a cell is kept in sugar or salt solution of different concentrations. There are three types of solutions on the basis of concentration. They are hypotonic solution, isotonic solution and hypertonic solution. So, let us first learn about hypotonic solution. In this solution, hypotonic solution is a solution where concentration of water is more, that means it has less solute or salt and more of water molecules. So, when a cell is placed in hypotonic solution, the movement of water molecules will be from outside to inside of the cell, that is from high concentration of water molecules to low concentration of water molecules. This results in the swelling of the cell. So, you can see from the first condition the cell starts swelling up. Coming to isotonic solution. In this solution, the concentration of water molecule outside the cell and inside the cell are same. That is, same concentration of water molecules are present in and out of the cell. So, the movement of the water molecules coming out will be the same of the water molecules going into the cell. So, hereby the size of the cell remains the same. So, there will be the net movement is same. Coming to hypertonic solution. In hypertonic solution, the concentration of water is less and solute is more. So, in this condition, the movement of water molecules will be from cell to outside medium, thereby the size of the cell becomes small, that is the cell shrinks. So, in the first picture you can see how the size of the cell has shrunk. As you can see the fate of the cells in these three different mediums. Plasma membrane is generally flexible and made up of proteins and lipids. Now, let us learn about cell. In plants, plasma membrane is enclosed by a cell wall which is made up of cellulose. Cell wall is absent in animal cells and it generally provides shape and strength to the cell. Cell wall is also permeable, that means it allows certain substances in and out of the cell. Cell wall also provides rigidity to the cell and prevents from bursting and shrinking when it comes into extreme hypotonic or hypertonic medium. The next important component is the nucleus. Nucleus controls all the activities going on in a cell. It carries hereditary information from parents to the offspring. It contains chromosomes which pass information in the form of DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid. This chromosome is present in as entangled mass and gets organized into segments when the cell is about to divide. Nucleus plays very important role in reproduction. Basically, the presence and absence of nuclear membrane differentiates the cell into a eukaryotic or a prokaryotic type of a cell. That is, if the nucleus is enclosed in a membrane, then they are called as eukaryotic cell. And if the nucleus does not have a nuclear membrane, then they are called as prokaryotic cells. So, you can see from the picture, the prokaryotic cell does not have a nuclear membrane and it is present embedded in the cytoplasm without a membrane of itself. Whereas in eukaryotic cell, the nucleus is enclosed inside a membrane. All plants and animals are eukaryotes, whereas bacteria are prokaryotic cells. Mostly eukaryotic cells have double membraned cell organelles. Other than the nucleus and the cell membrane, the third important component is the cytoplasm. So, let us learn about cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the jelly-like substance which is present inside the cell. It contains many cell organelles embedded in it. So, let us see what are the cell organelles. This is the typical animal cell. Cell organelles are tiny structures which performs certain functions within a cell. Organelles are present in the cytoplasm of a cell. Few organelles of a cell are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, mitochondria, plastids and vacuoles. So, what are endoplasmic reticulums? These are of two types, rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is the site for protein synthesis. That means here proteins are being synthesized, produced. These are called rough endoplasmic reticulum because ribosomes are attached on its surface. Ribosomes makes proteins for the cell and endoplasmic reticulum transports this protein within the cell depending upon the need or demand of the cell. Coming to smooth endoplasmic reticulum. These are called smooth because there is no deposition of ribosomes on its wall. So, here from the picture you can see the brownish color tube-like structures, they are the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Here lipid synthesis takes place. One major function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum is it helps in detoxifying many poisons and drugs. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum also transports the produced protein and lipids to the Golgi apparatus. So, let us learn about Golgi apparatus. This is a membrane bound sac. The main function of Golgi apparatus is the materials which is produced by the endoplasmic reticulum is modified, packed and transported to different parts of the cell. Golgi apparatus is basically located close to the endoplasmic reticulum to help fasten the process. Golgi apparatus also helps in the formation of lysosomes. So, let us learn about lysosomes. Lysosomes are organelles that contain digestive enzymes. They digest worn out or the old organelles, the food particles and foreign germs. Sometimes when the cell gets damaged, the enzymes present in the lysosomes digests its own cell, and so they are also known as suicidal bags of the cell. Coming to mitochondria. Mitochondria have a double layered membrane as seen from the picture. The outer membrane is smooth with number of pores, that is they are porous in nature, whereas the inner membrane is much folded to increase the surface area. Mitochondria help in the oxidation of food and releases energy in the form of ATP molecules, that is adenosine triphosphate. The body uses this energy to do various activities. So, mitochondria are called as powerhouses of the cell. Mitochondria also have its own DNA and ribosomes, that means they can make their own proteins. The next organelle is plastids. Plastids are generally present only in plants and are responsible for making and storing of food. These are again of three different types. They are the chloroplast, the chromoplast and the leucoplast. Chromoplasts, these are actually pigments which are responsible for changing the color of the cell. Like chloroplasts are responsible for green color, chromoplasts are either red, orange or yellowish in color, whereas leucoplasts are responsible for white color. So, chloroplast basically gives green color to the leaves, chromoplasts are responsible for giving color to fruits and flowers, and leucoplasts are generally present under the ground, that is the underground stems and roots. Like mitochondria, plastids also have their own DNA and ribosomes, and therefore they can make their own proteins. So, let us now learn about vacuoles. Vacuoles help in storing, protecting, providing support. They dispose the waste and also help in growth. Generally, plant cells have bigger vacuoles when compared to animal cells. The reason for this is plant cells need more water and other substances to be stored in each cell than the animal cell. So, these are extremely important as any other organelle. So, by this we conclude saying that the cell is the structural and functional unit of life.